morning. Thank you so very much for joining us on Sunrise on Soul Television. My name is Amaka Izuchukwu, and it's so good to have you join us. And I have, I've heard that song, Lady in Red is Dancing with Me. Okay, so I've always associated it, whenever a lady wears red, I tend to think that red is the it color. But this morning, Laura is making black the it color. She's looking at what's that grammar again? Resplendent in her black and a touch of red on the lips. That's beautiful. Good morning.
Amaka, you're making me blush.
Can I see? Can you move your wig a little bit? I need to see the blush. You're blushing, yeah.
Amaka, you're not looking bad. You know, when I entered this morning, I'm like, whoa, this combo is giving.
Well, who?
Honestly, I love your outlook this morning. And I'm saying that Izuchukwu will have to come and see Ebonyi and small. I be studio. I mean, Izuchukwu should come and settle us more.
Have a voice right now. No voice.
All right, Amaka, you look lovely. I love you. Are just giving all your cowrie shells and everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right, so welcome this morning to Sunrise on Soul Television. I am Laura Amanze, and it is that time of the week, in between when we have Monday and we have Wednesday, you're already looking towards to Friday. Say, okay, very soon we'll go to rest. But unfortunately, fortunately for some people, school has resumed. So even weekend is not something they look forward to anymore because there's a lot of washing to be done. I'm sure somebody can say hallelujah to that. Yeah.
Amen.
All right, so this morning we are going to be looking at the newspaper headlines. And after that, we look at the world of sports. And from the world of sports, of course, we take you to our newsroom. And when we return, we are going to be looking at some of the, educational policies that our Ebonyi state government is implementing or is about to implement, and also the new universities that has been attracted to our state. These and more will be coming your way on today's show. Please stay with us. Meanwhile, Amaka will take us through some newspapers.
Yeah, so joining us now for a look at the front pages of the national dailies is our very own person, our very own Shugaba. I got this correctly this time around.
You didn't say Shugaba. Like it was one hot yam in your mouth.
Our very own Shugaba. And the incoming that must come Sunday. Comrade Sunday. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Viewers, you are welcome.
Okay, so we've got quite a number of papers to look at this morning. We have, excuse me, the Daily Independent, Nigerian Tribune, The Punch, This Day, Daily Trust, and Vanguard. So let's begin with the Daily Independent newspaper. And it says, FG rules out immediate enforcement of 5% fuel tax, with the rider says it's not new tax created by Tinubu administration. And then we also have Nupeng suspends strike as Dangote settles for unionization.
All right, we now go to the Nigerian Tribune. And, well, another fresh crisis is brewing in the Senate because the suspension of Senator Natasha by the Senate seems to be taking a fresh turn. So we have this one that says suspension, Senate Natasha in fresh drama. So, and you have the riders there. You can't resume now, Nas tells Kogi Senator and says, cites pending appeal court case, and PDP kicks Senator overreaching itself. All right, we also have this one. Northern elders urge governors to negotiate with bandits. No plan for immediate implementation of 5% fuel tax.
All right, so we're moving away from the very popular to doctors decide on nationwide strike today. That's on the Punch newspaper. That's in bold. Doctors to decide on nationwide strike today. It has quite a lot of writers, but you might want to pick up a copy of the Punch and check pages 7 and 29. And then we have South Africa dents Eagles World Cup hopes after, right? after stalemate.
All right, so that from that we go to the This Day newspaper, and we have here DSS brokers truce as oil workers call off nationwide strike. We also have on the riders there. Let's see what we have down there. It says parties agree to allow. What is that? You mean what? Okay, based on free will. Yeah. Unionization based on free will. Unions grant commercial activities in states. Well, that as yesterday, even here in Ebonyi State, I think we felt the impact of that one day face-off there.
Yeah.
I think that's how much we can take from the This Day newspaper.
All right, so we move on now to Daily Trust. How flood swept away 2 sisters, others in Zamfara. What a painful way to die. And then we have condemnations as Israel military hits Hamas leaders in Doha. Doha is in Qatar. And then, of course, you might just want to take a look and see ways to recover funds sent to wrong account.
And from that we go to the Vanguard, and it's still the on Israel attack on Qatar. It's a world leaders envoys condemn Israel's attack on Qatar. And we also have here, okay, still talking about the Nupeng suspension and the strike issue with DSS as the one that brokered the truce for them. I think that's much for the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, and now we'll get to talk a little bit on those things that we have seen on the pages of the newspaper this morning. And I know that basically there are just about 2 major topics that you see on every of the paper, and that's the thing on Nupeng. Thankfully, that has been called off. And then we also see that on Natasha. But we want to start from the one that is not like everywhere. It's something we usually not talk about, you know, or what happens outside Nigeria. But, I mean, it's something we have to just talk about today, right? World leaders, envoys condemn Israel's attacks on Qatar. Now, Qatar, this attack is majorly because Qatar has been at the forefront of mediating peace between Israel and Hamas. Do not forget there are quite a number of countries that Israel is fighting with. Lebanon, Philistine, Gaza, Syria, you know, and thinking that, I don't know if we're having Israel of old again. Anyway, it's not funny, but there are quite a number of countries that Israel is battling with. And now, Qatar that is at the forefront of mediating, trying to mediate peace between Israel and these other nations. Israel decided to go and bomb them. It took responsibility. He said it was actually just, it was precision bombing, and it was just one person, you know, the son of the leader, the one who orchestrated the war, I mean the bombing in October 2023 that led to this, that it was just that one person that they went to bomb in Doha, in Qatar. Every single person that I've read their reports condemned this attack. Are you also one of those condemning this attack on Israel? Or you think that Israel was within its rights to go after their enemy, perceived of you?
You don't actually take sides, except you determine the actual event that led to the attack. Basically, Israel was not attacking Qatar per se. They were only following up the Hamas leadership. Hamas leadership caused the mayhem they did in Israel in
October 7.
Yes, 2023.
Yeah.
Israel vowed to follow them up, no matter where they go to, anywhere in the world. And we saw what happened when some of them were traced to Lebanon. Israel went there, not actually to fight the Lebanese government, but actually, if the government cannot produce them, then they will be coming out for them. So, but coming to the issue of Qatar, the press briefing by United States signified that Israel informed the U.S., and the U.S. in turn informed Qatar that Israel is going to carry out an attack on so enemy. But Qatar, in their release, claimed that Israel did not inform them, and that it is an affront to the country, and then called on world leaders to intervene. It's expected. And then another release also had it that that information from US came, yes, but it came while the attack was going on. Are you getting it? So, but you don't blame Qatar because of the regional crisis. They cannot accept that they received information. They received that information before. Yes, they cannot accept that. If you understand the politics going on in the Middle East, yeah. I believe that Qatar doesn't want to be involved in the crisis going on there.
But at the same time,
so they want to claim neutrality. You know, they want to claim neutrality, that they are not aware of the attack, and then it happened. Actually, Israel was going out for the enemy, and that attack is sending the signal to Hamas, wherever they are, that wherever they will go, that Israel is watching them, and they will come after them. That is the message Israel is sending to Hamas.
In case they decide to come to Nigeria.
In case they start going to another part of the world, they will not come to where they will suffer too much. They will continue to go to places.
Are you saying that if they come to Nigeria, they will suffer too much?
I'm just saying
anyway, I want to also lend my voice on that, because when Amaka was like, it's like Israel is everywhere, fighting everywhere. I think
Israel is everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of survival. Israel is fighting for its soul. And if you have been following the history of the Middle East, you discover that Israel has been under threat of extinction. So it's like I come to your house and look for your trouble, then I'll run to Sonny's house, and Sonny will hide me. And then I will say, because I'm hiding under Sonny, you cannot attack me. And Israel says, I tell Sonny, please, this man has attacked me, release him all. And you say, no, he's one of my own. He's an Arab. So there is no way an Arab will release a fellow Arab to a Jew. Do you understand? So there has been that undertone of shielding people who are actually out there to make sure that Israel does not have 1 minute of peace. And so when you find Israel going after this person or that person, I don't think, if you look at the politics of the world, you can't just enter a country and attack it like that. I don't think so. So I tend to agree with Sonny that there is no way US is in the know, and the Qatar will not be in the know. There must have been, political maneuverings trying to say, get this man out. You are shielding him. And they feel, no, they cannot do that. So I know Israel being what it is. One person, one life in Israel matters.
They said this was actually in response to the bombing in Jerusalem on Monday that killed 6 people.
Exactly. So if you're still orchestrating more bombing into Israel, and you expect that you are going to have a place, a refuge where you can go and hide, come do your guerrilla warfare, run back there and hide, and you think that they will not come after you. Israel has vowed wherever their enemies are in the world, they will go after that person. So if you are a country that's you want to shield the enemies of Israel, then be ready.
You become their enemy.
You become their enemy. The enemy of my enemy, the friend of my enemy is my enemy. That is the politics of the...
It was a precision attack that killed just 1 person. I mean, Qatar has not come out to say there was more than 1 dead. So Israel still maintains that it was a very precision attack, and it was just 1 that they had. Anyway, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't know. In Nigeria, it's EBBC versus the others, because that's exactly what we are seeing in the House of Senate. I mean, this Natasha case has been long drawn out. One would have expected that by now Akpabio should know to sheath his sword, but
I don't know, what are you looking at now? The tone that this Natasha case is taking. Now, Natasha was supposed to have resumed on Friday. And then the Senate is on recess. And then the acting clerk of the House writes Natasha saying, oh, you cannot resume. Oh. Why? There is a pending case in court, in the Court of Appeal. And until that is resolved, you can't come back. And then that the Senate has to sit to decide when you will come back. And I am thinking, in the first place, it wasn't the court that suspended Natasha. That's number one. So as far as I'm concerned, the court has no business when she resumes. And then secondly, it's like when you send a child on suspension even in school. The child doesn't have to come to you and ask, should I resume back? The child will calculate from the day you suspended him or her to when that suspension is over, and she will naturally come back to school. So they are now saying that you have to, we will have to sit and decide on if you're returning or not. And don't you think they're overreaching?
By the way, just to add to that, when Natasha was suspended, Natasha went to the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja to say this was this. And the court actually decided that the suspension, you cannot stop a constituency from, cut them off.
Completely.
For almost 6 months, right?
That 6 months is almost a sitting section.
Yeah, so for 6 months, the max is 14 days, right? And the court, the same House of Senate actually says the court has no jurisdiction on this.
Exactly.
Okay? Before the same house now went back again on another appeal. So if they wanted to stick to the court's ruling, Natasha should have resumed by 14th of July.
Sure.
Way before now. But they did not. And now that she's to resume after the 6 months, they're not saying we are waiting for the court. Your question?
No, actually, see, for me, if you look at cases of suspension in the National Assembly, there are rules. There are the way those cases went. If I should cite the recent one by former
Ndome?
Yes.
Ndume?
Not Ndume. There was this majority leader.
Farouk?
I couldn't remember.
I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was Farouk.
So, you don't go to court. You don't go to court. When you are suspended in the Senate, what you do is to follow up that suspension. You may not even serve that 6 months, like in his own case. He was recalled. The Senate sat, and then based on certain indices, they say, okay, citing this action, there's a case of remorse. Recall him, and then he came back. But in the case of Natasha, when she was suspended, so many issues, she raised so many issues, of which most of the issues she raised could not be substantiated in the court. There were no proper evidence to those issues she brought up.
Some of them were actually struck out over procedural.
Yes. But they were not serious, even atom of evidence to those issues. Remember that the judgment, the court made some decisions that were against Natasha.
Yeah.
Number one, they fined her for raising certain social media posts while cases was in court. They also fined her for some other actions against the Senate. Now, the court did not say, recall Natasha. The court suggested, advised, and it is on that ground that the Senate went to appeal. The court advised that since the maximum sitting day is 180 days in a year, you cannot suspend this person for 60 days. It will now affect the representation of her people, of her constituency. So the court was looking at the representation, not Natasha per se, and now advised that it should not be up to that amount, that the court should look. And then the court did not say that the Senate have no power. Based on that, the court did not say the Senate have no power. court recognized that Senate has power to suspend. But 6 months is too much. And then
Should be a
advised.
maximum of 14.
Are you getting it now? So, but when a matter has now left the Senate, it is time for the court, which is now holding the matter, to complete it. It is on that ground that the clerk is saying, your case is still in court, technically. So you cannot come back until we determine this issue. But if you look at it in the other angle, because of the fact that she's presenting people, and if you allow this case to continue to be in court, she may end up
Never coming back.
So for the sake of her people, the Senate should do the other way, allow her to come back.
But don't you think this is more like APC versus PDP? Natasha being of the PDP and the Senate's leadership being of APC. Now, PDP has actually weighed in on this. RAP has also weighed in on this, and every single one of them is saying this lady should actually be allowed to resume duties. But APC-led leadership of the Senate is still very much silent. At least we haven't had anything from Akpabio.
Well, you said the PDP have weighed in, but APC has not also made their own comment. So I'm more like seeing it as a case between the National Assembly leadership and Natasha.
I think it's becoming, for me, it's becoming too personalized. You understand? Because you're not just looking at Natasha as a person. There's an entity that she's representing.
Yes.
You understand? And looking at what has played out even before the public, we're not even talking about the one that the public did not get to see or hear about. But what we have seen publicly displayed, it has become a thing of ego. Oh, this woman will go show her. I am the leader of this house. You cannot come and make these accusations publicly. I'm going to use my strength and my position to teach you a lesson and all that. So I think that for me, the Senate should suspend her, because there is not a win-win for all. You are there to represent people, and the feeling and the that people are having, that constituency that she's representing for 6 months has suffered. Don't forget that empowerment is going on, constitutional review is going on, some other things has been going on for the past 6 months, which particular constituency has been denied or deprived of participation, and it is very wrong. So I would think that whatever the situation, they should allow Natasha back. Whatever, I don't see how a court will say you can. The court never said you can't recall her. You understand? You can still be there doing your work while the case is going. After all, we have cases in Nigeria where you have cases in court. It does not stop you from working. The door of sitting, you go there.
I'm just surprised that at this time now the Senate really wants to obey court's rulings.
Exactly.
It's just really so amazing. But I think we've dwelt so much on that. Federal government rules out immediate enforcement of 5% fuel tax, says it's not new tax created by the Tinubu administration. In fact, one of the papers says this 5% tax will not be implemented until January 2026. And yet Nigerians are saying, now 1 kilos. We are paying so much for fuel, and now you're saying we have to pay 5% on every liter of petrol purchased.
Well, NLC has also, even the TUC, has also issued out a directive to our members to prepare for strike. I'm not speaking for TUC, but some national dailies, we had it that the TUC, the Trade Union Congress, has warned that if that is not withdrawn, that definitely they will be going on strike. And to be frank, you cannot tell labor that you remove fuel subsidy, and ask them to endure, to sacrifice for the nation to move forward. and then suddenly you bring up, you now introduce something, 5% tax for the same fuel that you remove subsidy. Now, the money you are getting from the subsidy, what are you doing with those money? Are you getting it? And then TUC is a body of companies and organizations that survive on fuel. Go to some places, you see even banks close up because of running diesel. My place in Afipo, there are banks that closed up because of running diesel. There's no power, and diesel is the only means to run the bank. And they are spending a lot.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. And then the same thing applies to many manufacturers. They run their plant with diesel or fuel. They are struggling, to sustain that. And then you are now trying to impose tax on it.
You know what I find funny?
It's not acceptable.
You know what I find funny? During Obasanjo's regime, this very president today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when Obasanjo tried to add the same tax, he came out and said that it is cowardice on the part of governors to keep quiet in a face like this. So, and I am wondering, if you at that time didn't see the need for this taxation you are imposing on the same fuel thing, why are you now bringing it up and telling, whether it is in the immediate or 2026, when is it? We are looking at 4 months' time. That's 2026 already. You understand? So I am wondering, what has changed? What has changed in Nigeria between the period he saw it as not okay to increase or to add tax on fuel to what we have now? Because if you look at the economy, we have nosedived even more. People are more impoverished than they were in 1999 to date. Purchasing power of people have reduced drastically. A lot of parents, households, cannot even eat 100, not to talk of 101. So
eating 000.
Some are not. Honestly, there are families that hardly have something to eat on a daily basis. Truly.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
Yeah. So, and then you are now trying to add this. Just look at only yesterday. Did you see what happened in the kind of people? The transport already went up just only yesterday.
Well, I think this particular thing, according to what it says, this particular 5% tax came into effect in 2007. All right, even though it wasn't until since it came into effect, it hadn't been implemented, right? Because maybe the people the leaders at the time felt.
Why must they implement everything that Nigeria has in this regime?
But just calm down. I'm getting somewhere. But it was under the FEMA. FEMA was tasked with collecting this particular tax, right? And then when they decided to harmonize the tax system in Nigeria, they now brought it in. But what baffles me is the fact that labor unions also, I want to believe they had access to these tax unions, this tax unification that was brought out, that they held. Are they saying they did not see it that time?
No, that period, 2007, check how many years now. That period, fuel was not even up to 80 naira.
But it had never been implemented.
Listen, that period, and then it was not also implemented. That period, federal government was trying to remove subsidy for fuel. And even diesel. Then even diesel, kerosene, they were all subsidized. That 2007.
Yeah.
Now, federal government was now looking for a means to make up. And it's okay that people buying fuel above so number are not the poor as of that time. Now it came up and said, okay, let us have a tax. If you purchase more than so amount, liter, then we should have a percentage of tax from it. That period we're talking about, fuel was 85 naira.
Wasn't it? It was not up to 85 naira.
Yes.
It was not up to 85 naira.
So that was
no, it wasn't.
That tax was suggested.
It was around 62 naira or 63 naira.
So it was suggested.
Yes.
NSC said no, and then it was left behind. Is it now that we have now removed the whole subsidy?
And
then
from 60 something naira to 1,013 per
so
litre.
not only subsidy from PMS, all of them.
All of them.
Including CNG now, and every other thing. If you go to our borders where people import goods, you'll be surprised at the amount they charge for import duty. Those ones are not even on the paper. And it is the public that are paying for those import duties, not the importer. Because if you charge higher duty, they will sell at higher price.
Yeah.
Precisely. You remember there's this soap I used to buy for 150 naira. It is now 1,000 naira, just detergent that you wash your clothes with.
So when you
the last I bought was 1,000 naira.
So when you hear them saying
that
they have met all the income, it is people, it is me and you that have paid for those
income.
Those targets they have.
But you know what also what pains my heart is the fact that, you know, this tax, when they were trying to explain this tax away, they said it was for road infrastructure. And I'm wondering who is going to be accountable for, I mean, how do we ensure transparency? The tax, let's even agree that Nigerians begin to pay this tax. How do we ensure that what is collected is what is remitted, and what is remitted is what is actually used for the roads? Anyway, that
question, they can come out and say, look at the Lagos-Calabar coastal roads.
Yeah, we used the tax money.
We are using the tax money. The Port Harcourt, Abuja, Port Harcourt, the East-West Road, the Enugu Port Harcourt Road.
So
yes, they can explain it right away. I mean, these roads are going on. If you're talking about road infrastructure, they will tell you, okay, this is what is happening.
Some of the good roads we have in Nigeria, they are having toll gates.
Exactly.
And they are collecting money from those toll gates.
As a matter of fact, do you know that between here,
not cash.
Benue now, from Benue,
electronic transfer.
It's only in the southeast that you don't even have those toll gates.
Will you have toll gate where there's no good road? It is where you have good road that you.
But even in Benue say that there's no good road. There's toll gates.
Maybe there's a good road there now.
Which good road? From here to Benue, there's no good road.
I think that if there is a toll gate in Benue, I haven't left Ebonyi in a while now. If there is a toll gate
there
in
is.
Benue, it's probably because, you know, Benue now, entrance from there, from so many.
From Nasarawa,
you're passing.
From Nasarawa, you pay. Train into Nasarawa, you pay. Then it's only in Jos again that there's no toll gate. You understand? There's no toll gate, at least as at July. I don't know about August now.
Okay, so I think this is a good place to leave the review of the front pages of the national dailies. Thank you so very much, Sugar. But I just thought that maybe we should continue more, because I would have loved to know why we are still having striking issues in the medical or in the health sector. There is a strike currently ongoing by resident doctors at Abuja. And it's never been easy on the masses, and it doesn't look like it's something that is going to be ending anytime soon. Just before we went on air, Laura was telling me about a hospital, a viral photo of a patient at the hospital laying on a springed bed without mattress, and I'm saying that's even fine. In Abakaliki, I can take you to the places where people. Emergency units, people are just dropped on the floor. 2 days, 3 days, they're still there, and no one is saying anything. But we'll take a break now. When we return, we'll bring you Sunrise Sports. Thank you again, Chigaba, for coming in.
Welcome, viewers. Thank you.